guess for me, I might hold the record here, y'all, for the person that
Yeah.
didn't figure it out
The
till
longest.
the longest. I don't know if this is a.
Well,
I
I
don't know
mean,
if
if
this
we
is like
added,
I get
if
an
we
award
added
for
my
this
crisis
or
of reversal,
hour.
yeah, bad deal.
Yeah,
Do
if
it
we
another 5
at
years.
least had a rebound. That has
I had a rebound, so we'll go 25 years.
Okay, that's
We'll go
cool.
with that.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's fine.
Yeah, it's cool. So
Yeah, I had a rebound with Jesus. It was hot.
So I'm a recovering fundamentalist. So I was Protestant. I grew up on a small farm in the middle of nowhere. Went to a one-room country school, little house on the prairie style, and just very much.
Josh is going to lead us all after the apocalypse.
Yeah,
Joshua equals Wilder.
yeah. Anyone who knows me, these hands aren't gonna be doing much manual labor.
Ouchie.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, but
I'm going to listen to this story later, but darlings, I got to run.
Okay, all right. Thanks for joining us, though.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Thanks,
See ya.
Elise.
So I was very, very into it. I mean, I was eventually Sunday school teacher, worship band leader, played the drums in service, started a church plant, actually. Well, it was one of the starters.
Hold on. I need to know what a church plant is.
So we had
a farm?
Church.
Yeah, so it's like we had a fairly large church. It was like around 3,000 people, and this was on the south side of town, but there wasn't our correct denomination on the north side of town. So we needed to take our real faith to the north side. So I was part of that tribe, and did that whole thing. I mean, I was
tribe.
I was the person that so to me, and this was the part this was my struggle. I believed that the God of the actual universe that spoke the entire cosmos into existence from nothing gave us a book, and he inerrantly wrote it himself, right? So he used people to write it, but he spoke it. So any error was probably because of a translation error. But this was his written word.
Error.
Yes. And I was like, okay, this book is a slog. Okay. There's repetition. There's confusion. There's what seems to be inconsistencies. But this is it, guys.
Editing the word of God.
The thing.
Yeah, but also, wouldn't you think he knew that there would be book editors in the future? He knows what kind of story holds our attention.
Why didn't he pick better ones?
Didn't he know you would be here, Josh?
So
if he's omniscient, he knew TikTok was going to happen, and he knows that shit.
He's playing the long game.
Right. So the problem is
he's
this:
not playing the long game. That's the problem.
8-year-old me.
Was
less indoctrinated than 20-year-old me, because what happened was when I was 20, I was convinced that the book was real and that I must understand it and believe it with faith in it, unequivocally. Now, 8-year-old me, and I remember this like it was yesterday, and I was in my grandparents' house, who were the root cause of this situation within my family. Yes, and I remember asking them, my grandma, I said, if we grew up in a country that believed in Hinduism, would we be Hindu? Because I was like, we are hardcore Christian. We believe it. It's the one thing. And I was like, but if we grew up in a country that was Hindu, because it was when I was first learning the concept of whoa, there's other religions out there. I was like, would we be Hindu? And of course, I didn't.
That was also one of the big things that drove me and my anthropological exploration was the realization, if I had been born in any other country, I would just be the religion that is the majority in that country.
The predominant.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just chance.
And so anyway, so she did not give me a good answer. Yeah,
take notes, Dawn.
She did not give a good answer.
Question.
And what's weird is, I remember it to this day. I remember that was a thing that cracked the eggshell a little bit, because I was like, that doesn't seem like a very solid answer. But then I just moved on, because if you're just in it and everyone around you believes, and you're like I wasn't the smartest person. So like, I was like, well, my dad's smarter than me. So, and he believes it to the point where he'd probably throw himself in front of a train if God told him to. I guess I better too. So
and
anyway,
it feels like just a mild bump in the road at
Yeah.
that point. You're just like,
and like,
oh, well,
I was crazy. I thought I was crazy.
You asked a question that you probably just shouldn't have asked.
I shouldn't have asked the question. That was a dumb question. So then I go on and I'm reading it. I'm getting into it. When I was in 7th and 8th grade, I went to a special camp in Manitou Springs, Colorado.
We don't talk about those camps.
Special camp.
Is that the one where you, like we see on the Netflix intro where they're like, huh?
There wasn't
I'm so sorry.
anything.
It's Manitou. It's Manitou Springs, and it's right by my cabin. How dare you?
Okay.
Manitou.
And it's beautiful. And it's beautiful out there. And to your
I'm like, you have a cabin?
It's like 45 minutes from my family's cabin.
Also, to your point,
What's
not
the
a
next
mistake.
big
They
town?
put that place out in the middle of a
got you,
place where you're going to have natural awe. I mean, that's
Yes,
brilliant.
Exactly. That's why I go to the
You were
cabin.
talking about, Heather, when you were talking about the
vastness.
the vastness,
of
thank you,
yes.
of nature,
Yep.
giving you some kind of feeling, and then people saying God.
And that's
Yeah.
and God gave you that. I'm like, no, it's chemicals. The same way when you're drinking, you also have chemicals.
Endorphins.
In the same way when you work out, you also have chemicals. It's all just chemicals.
Yeah. And so I'm out there.
I believe there's a song about it from the 80s.
I think so.
Here's what's really weird, though. So this is a really weird deal, and I now that I'm saying this out loud, I do need to like go offline and unpack this. But
Because I do.
You want to come in and lay down, Deva?
Really long time.
so I go to this place, and basically it's 2 weeks of you're by yourself, and it's hardcore Bible training, and they do this
Because Focus on the Family is based there.
It's
I don't know
I'm
if
not
you're familiar with Focus on the Family, but
I think they
he's
might have been
familiar.
oh yeah, Josh McDowell, and yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, so I did this a few times, because what they're trying to do is prepare you for when you eventually go to college. And literally, I remember a couple of things that were really interesting to me. So the first thing was, they're like, list all of the patriarchs in order, starting from like, Abraham. And I remember not being able to do it initially and thinking, whoa, I'm a failure, and my friend could. And I was like, so you get this sense where you're like, whoa, I'm not a good enough Christian. I need to buckle down. So you buckle down.
yeah,
then-
the guilt and shame is real.
And then,
Is that where you learned all of the Bible books in order?
oh yeah, that was actually some musical cassette tapes that I used to listen to a lot. But I can still sing them. But then that was the same place where I remember reading Mark, where it talks about if you're a real Christian, you can handle snakes and get bit and not die. And I remember thinking, because I grew up on a farm in the Midwest, and I remember thinking, dude, if I get bit by a rattlesnake, I mean, I got faith, but I'm guessing that thing's gonna kill me.
Okay.
Like, I'm
See,
guessing.
this is such an interesting dichotomy, because like if you're fully in it, you're like, no, it'll be totally fine. But then being fully in it and not believing it and thinking I should still avoid the rattlesnake is such a pull on your psyche.
Because I
How old were
saw
you
the
though? You said
rattlesnake.
you had less faith as a child.
I know. I encountered the rattlesnakes. I was like, dude, I'm not going to chance this. And then I'm like, well, that must mean that I don't have faith. So the dichotomy
I'm
thing.
not good enough because I
Right.
still fear the snake.
Right. And so then I learned, because then of course we're here and we're diving into things. And this was like before the internet was available on your phone. I was actually reading things, and I was like, wait a minute. What's this section in Mark where it says previous manuscripts don't have this? And so then I'm like, well, wait, that part about the snakes wasn't in the original manuscripts. And so then I'm like asking people around, like, what does this mean? What does this mean? And they're giving me answers, but the answers were just like my grandma's answer, where it was like, okay, it was an apologetic, but I was like, but it wasn't good enough. It was like, huh? So then I dove down the rabbit hole, and that's when I got into apologetics, because I was like, I have to be able to explain all of these things. God is real.
Like
God
if
is
you have
right.
these questions, other people are going to have these questions. You've got to
Exactly.
figure out how to defend it.
Right.
And
so
also, apologetics are for people already in it to
yes.
feel okay about being in it, not to
Exactly.
convert people who are not.
Exactly. Now, I didn't understand that at the time because what I did was I read like Norman Geisler, like obviously the Strong's Concordance and all this other stuff. And I
So did
then took to the internet, which back then was of course like the internet, and I was like arguing like I was arguing stuff I should not have been arguing. I was arguing like, no, man, the law of thermodynamics does not prove that the Earth is older than 8,000 years old. Rocks don't take that long to cool down. Like
I'm not
like,
a physicist whatsoever, but I super know about this situation.
I've studied it in my big book.
yeah, exactly. And I still have the big book. So
all other physicists believe this.
I got
They're
pictures and
wrong.
blueprints.
I'm a freshman in business administration. You just shut up, man. Let me
The
school you.
Dunning-Kruger was so strong with you.
Yes. I secretly wonder, because I don't really know who Dunning-Kruger was, but I secretly wonder if they named me that and I was like that's the joke. Oh yeah, Dunning-Kruger over here. Yeah. So anyway, so
I think that is what freshman year is.
Yeah.
Where they crack your eggshell.
This is where my wife helps me not tell a short story long, and everyone on this channel is gonna.
She's good at that so far.
Yeah. So
no, she's
fast forward through college, and I'm doing these stupid apologetics. I'm doing the Sunday school, worship band, etc. And then all of a sudden, what happens is I continue my studies because remember, I think this book was written by the creator of the cosmos. And anyone who doesn't read it is insane. Like, how would you not read this? Even though it's painful and terrible. So I'm reading it.
It's so boring to read. It's so hard.
Boring.
Painful, terrible, and boring.
Oh, God.
So boring.
God. Anyway, so one day I'm reading, and this was the book that did it for me. I will show it. Not now because I've got earbuds in and I don't run across the room, but I still have it. It was a book by Christian geologists on why there is a young Earth, even though the Earth appears old by geology. And I remember sucking at geology, but always thinking, and the reason I sucked at it was because I was like, oh, there's no way this is 1 million years old. There's no way. The Bible says it's not, and I believe it.
Every single thing they posited, we're like, no, that can't be real.
Right, no, I can't. And trust me, I knew fossils. I knew the layers under the lake apologetics. And so I'm reading this book, and it basically was a giant book of apologetic, and I'm just like, wait a minute. This is like gymnastics. This is silly. This is kind of ridiculous. And then I was like, what if, I just did this thought experiment, and I'm like in my 30s at this point. I'm like, what if it's not true? And then all of a sudden I was like thinking about all of my apologetics that I've done up to that point and replaying it like, what if that excuse that I was giving wasn't real? And all of a sudden I realized the thousands of things that I had defended are so much easier explained by common sense and rationality.
What is it that they say? The simple answer is often
Occam's razor. Occam's razor.
Which also is misunderstood a lot. I feel like a lot of Christians say, well, the simple answer is instead of all of this science mumbo jumbo, God.
This education.
No, that's just not an
answer. But that's not an answer.
No, but it's the answer with the fewest assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
complicate things when you add.
It's also the hardest answer to prove.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I think, oh God, who's the comedian that she talks about her deconstruction and how she.
Oh.
Yes, Dawn knows. But
yep, that one.
Because I'm making notes tonight.
She.
I'll send you a link. I copied it.
Yeah.
I saved her on Instagram.
Yeah, so she's like, what if I just for a second, imagine that God isn't real. And then she's like, oh my God, how is the earth not falling out of the sky? And she was like, and then I remember
that's like then we had the caller that was like, I just don't appreciate your blaspheming.
But you just
I'm just positing what if this is
but
bullshit.
that one step of if I just think for a second maybe it's not real. Like that feels so dangerous. You're literally jumping off of a cliff. It's insane. And then like if you let yourself just take the leap of faith and just say like, what if? No.
Yeah.
Like things do become easier, but it's fucking scary.
It is scary.
First step is so scary because you've built this entire
network
and building of the structure of support that you have. You're like, what if I just like blow all of that down and go
and just live my life?
What do I have to stand on? And you realize there is a bunch of stuff to stand on, but you don't know it until you take that step, and it's really scary. It's really scary.
And I will say too, like what interests me is so I work with people who are like deconstructing, and one of the biggest things that they experience is why I've been asking this question is like, how did they manage through their fear of hell? Because when a person breaks free like that, a lot of times they're like, but what if I'm wrong?
Right.
This is the thing that I think
that's the hardest piece.
I wanted to talk to you about this, Josh, because like when I like theoretically like was like, oh yeah, like I know it's not real. Emotionally, I was still like, like I would say a blasphemous thing, and there'd still be like a little like hiccup in the back of my body or something. And it took a long time to like just keep
very, very
saying
common. It's
just
so
keep saying the blasphemous thing and
ingrained in us to be so afraid of this thing. But
and then you think about like what other relationships are based on that kind of fear.